Loren, good to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
Hi, thank you so much.
This is so exciting. We're chatting about Incoming, and I love this film. And, there's so much kind of going on, and I have so many questions. I almost started this interview. I didn't, but I was going to be like, Lauren, welcome to Taco Bell. I mean, welcome to Popternative.
I love it.
But, I kind of want to go before we get into the film, the early stages. Like, how did you get involved? How much did you know about it? Like, I'm curious about that for you specifically.
Yeah, so I received the script for self tape, and it was the first script that I've laughed out loud reading. I absolutely loved it, and I went full with, auditioning, and I did like 6, 7 audition tapes for the role, and it was a lot of, slowly making my way closer. But I worked really hard at it because I wanted it. I wanted it really bad.
No, it's so crazy. And it's so, so much kind of happens. And I'm just curious as well, right? Because, so much happens before you go to camera on this project. Like you said, there's like preparation, you get the role and everything. Does it feel from like an acting storyteller perspective? Does it feel like one journey with multiple steps, or does it feel like two journeys, like before filming and coming and after filming and coming? I'm curious about that.
I would say it feels like one journey with multiple steps. It was a really a fun experience. It was my first acting experience, so I feel like this film really was a great environment for me to sort of exercise my acting abilities and get
Yeah.
comfortable in that setting. And it was such a collaborative environment, so I feel like I'm a little spoiled because that set was so lovely. But I
Yeah.
definitely gained a lot of confidence from being a part of this.
100%. We're gonna get into the film because there's some scenes that we got to talk about. And it's crazy because it's like the content's coming out a little bit of the trailer, the social content. So I feel like people are prepared, but I don't think people can be prepared for what they're gonna see, right? If you think about
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot.
general, I mean, kind of wearing many hats, doing a lot of things, doing the, social media content, doing the acting, doing the music. Was there a time where you like were thinking about the fact that you wanted to do all these things, or did it kind of just happen for you specifically?
I mean, I've always loved entertainment
Yeah.
in general. Even when I was in school and in sports, like the whole purpose of it for me was to put on a show, whether I was like cheerleading or singing. So social media gave me that platform to be able to move into other lanes of entertainment and experiment. So acting was always something I was interested in. Music is always something I've been passionate about. And I feel like at different points in my life, opportunities have presented themselves, or I've been interested in pursuing something, and that sort of takes the forefront for a little bit. And
Yeah.
that's how this movie was. I was really excited about it, really passionate about it, and that took the forefront. And I'm really excited that it's finally coming out.
Some of the best scenes in this film. There's a lot, but some of the best are the, Tesla Uber with yourself, Raphael, and Ramon's characters. And I just can't wait for people to see that. I just kind of want to know, like, you know, yeah, you get this, like, you have discussions with the directors and you have discussions with Ramon and Raphael about the scene, but it's like, was there like a game plan for those scenes? Because they're so over the top, or did you just go in and do it? Like, what was that like before filming a lot of those Uber scenes?
So I had never obviously I've never been a part of a movie project before. So I got used to pretty quickly the sort of you go onto set, you don't really know what you're shooting, and then you have the script in your trailer for whatever you're doing that day. So most days, unless I was given a warning, I didn't know if I was gonna be like messy or if it was going to be one of those kind of scenes, or what it was, which I really loved. I loved like the surprise. I loved the excitement of not knowing what to expect on set every day. So yeah, I don't think there was a ton of preparation. There's not really a good way to prepare for something like that. You just kind of got to put yourself out there and cross your fingers.
Absolutely. And I think this is the time of the interview, right, where we put the spoiler kind of heads up for people, right?
Right, sure. Yeah, spoiler for sure.
So, I mean, there's, you are eating Taco Bell there's some Taco Bell consumption and, you know, there's some there's pooping involved.
There's really no glamorous way to talk about it. Yes,
I'm trying.
there's
You
lots
saw
of
me
poop.
struggle there, right? Where I'm just like, how do I like phrase this? I was
I
hoping you were gonna.
I was letting you handle that, but I've gotten very comfortable with the concept of pooping from this movie. Like there's nothing. I've embarrassed myself to the highest degree, and it doesn't really get much crazier than that. So.
And it's like, you show up to the Tesla Uber and you're doing a live stream and you're singing a song. Was a lot of that like part of the script, or was there kind of room to play and improv a little bit with that?
Most of it was in the script. There was a few scenes where on this sort of come up to me being completely absolutely gone, where there was a lot of improv. So when I'm like doing the chicken fight in the pool, that was pretty much all
Yeah.
improv. They were just like, just be really obnoxious and yell, and that was really fun. So yeah, not necessarily in those scenes. There wasn't a ton of improv, but in other scenes throughout the film for sure.
Absolutely. The big question is whether your car, like the whole like where do you live Taco Bell, and it's like it's just so funny. And it's like, how do you prepare yourself for those scenes though? Like in the Uber with the Taco Bell, like you said, well, we said the pooping. Like how do you like, because it's one thing to see that in the script, right? And say, wow, right? And then when people see it, it's like it's insane. Like, and it's like 0 to 100 too, right? Like they're trying to take your character home and everything and get her home safe, and then it just happens, and then it's just like
Right.
so what's that script to screen kind of journey with those scenes specifically?
Well, the pooping is easy. The pooping was very easy. I kind of just had to sit there, and it was a little uncomfortable, obviously, but
Yeah.
that was the easy part. The hard part was learning how to act drunk,
Yeah.
because you don't realize how hard that is until you actually try it. So I watched a lot of movies with scenes where people are drunk and belligerent. Like I watched Bridesmaids, which was very
Oh,
helpful.
so good.
The plane scene, Bridesmaids. There was a couple that I watched that were really helpful. But it is tough because you don't. That's the one like human experience, or one of the like human experiences that you have where you're not really fully experiencing it. So to do that,
No, and I have to tell you, look like from an just like from seeing that in the script and doing that, like you did an amazing job. Seriously, Lauren. I just want to say, like that's a lot. Like we said at the beginning of the interview, like you did really
yeah,
well there. Um,
I
I love the Bridesmaid shout out because I interviewed Maya Rudolph a couple months ago, and I got to tell that's like one of my favorite films of all time. So I was like, that's like top five film. I love that film. But that's a good segue to my next question, right? Because in terms of kind of research or getting into the feel of Incoming, like the party and everything, and even the school scenes, there's so many movies out there. Like Incoming wants to be its own film, but there's a lot of movies that like people might compare it to, or like it pays tribute to. So there's, especially with like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, right? Of course, with the directors, you might research the feel of those films, but like, do you go back and look at like Super Bad or like American Pie? Like, do you do a lot of that as well?
of course,
Yeah.
I honestly like I didn't even need to do a lot of that because those movies are so like ingrained in my brain. I feel like
Mhm.
Super Bads, the Project X's, like all of those movies that paved the way for this one. Yeah, that's like a no-brainer. But I have gone back and watched more comedy movies because I fell down like a psychological thriller like tunnel for a while.
Totally.
So going back and watching comedies in light of this movie coming out was really fun, and just sort of seeing the inspiration, but also like the new sort of modern twists that we had in this movie.
And I find it interesting because there's the two big. It's interesting because like I feel like yourself, Ramon, and Raphael are in the same boat because you have those scenes in the Uber and everything. But the film really is the school scenes and the party scene, right? So you see some people at the school and you see them at the party. But your characters we also see in the Uber, right? Like, did you think about that? That was pretty cool. That it was like there was different kind of spaces that we saw your characters in, like when you read the script? Because it's like, it's not just the party, right? Like we see your character at the party, but then there's the whole, I feel like that could be its own movie in a lot of ways, the Uber adventure. Like, do you think about that at all? Like, being like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, it's not just school and the party for us. Like, we have this whole kind of like Uber thing.
I actually hadn't thought about that much until you just said it. But now that you say it, it does give like myself and the other boys like a really cool opportunity to have different, I don't know, different experiences on screen. And at least for my character, like getting to show different sides of the character.
Yeah.
In such a, everything sort of happens so fast.
Yeah.
And she sort of has this whole like character arc within like the span of a few days, which I loved about getting to play Katrina.
And by the time this interview was out, because we did talk about some crazy things, Incoming will be streaming worldwide on Netflix. So I can't wait for people to check that out. Loren, so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time. Seriously.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Instagram, social media, just Loren Gray if they want to keep up to date with everything, right?
You got it.
Very simple to plug, right? Just Loren Gray everywhere, right? It's the same thing with music. I remember like being in bands and everything, and it's like, work, you listen to your music. And it was like, like we have like a demo or anything. Now it's literally like wherever you listen to music, you could.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Awesome. Well, this has been Pop Turner, youtube.com/Pop Turner for previous episodes. You can, of course, catch Loren Gray in Incoming, streaming out worldwide on Netflix. Until next time, it's Loren and Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.